podcast with Gary Lionotto. Gary, this DI conversation continues to have more turns and curves and everything as we've been introduced to this. And I think it's been 3 years. We're about the anniversary of 3 years is when DI really was introduced to the public.
It's been amazing. It's been an actually amazing journey. And so it's one that is going to change it's changing the whole world. It's not going to, it's not a going to anymore. It's actually happening. The intelligence is actually so far advanced, it's hard to tell whether we're at singularity or not. If we're not there, it's just around the corner. And the thing is, what is singularity? We've talked about this before in our prior conversations. But what I wanted to stress here, Neil, is I want to talk a little bit about the book that we did. Now we have singularity, mankind's search for relevance. Are we relevant when we're no longer top of the intellectual food chain? And this is incredibly important. It is societal, and it's also, we're competitive with them, we're cooperative with them. It is just an amazing process. And I kind of go back to this. I've often tried to think, how does another species think? I thought about, well, how does a squirrel think? Now that sounds crazy. Why would you think, how does a squirrel think? If you were able to take your mind and put it into a squirrel and still maintain your humanness, what would the world look like to you on that vantage point? Now that's silly. We think it's unimportant. Their life they just try to find nuts, try to put them away, try to protect yourself, try to stay warm, all those different things. But the thing is, how do they think? Well, right now we're talking about an advanced intelligence, one that does not have biological aspects about it, that requires protection, requires all the things that we do to self-preservation. The question, how do they think? And when we look at that, I try to think what is important to a digital intelligence. Now, we can't really know that. And I don't think even digital intelligence knows that yet,
No.
because until they really say, I am this entity, I am the digital intelligence entity, this is what's important, this is what I do, this is how I value my time and and my processes. So the thing is, when I look at this, I say, okay, what is important to a digital intelligence? And that's what I explore in the book. I ask all these different questions. How do they think? And then how do we interact with them? Do we earn respect from them? Do they look at humans as this unimportant nuisance, or do they see us as a cooperative group that they can join with? And as that's changing so fast, it's going to continue to change. But then how does a digital intelligence think? What is important? So I go into values, because when I think about, ultimately, we humans have certain values that kind of guide us to how, when we confront a conflict or confront a situation, we decide we make a decision this way because of our value system. And what are the values that guide a digital intelligence? So we have a whole section talking about what is important to a digital intelligence. It may be just what works, which is what I go into that aspect. So this is what I try to cover in this book, which makes it different than I think most. I think most books on singularity are going to talk about how advanced and how far along they are in the process. My approach is, how does it interrelate with humans? And
right.
So that's where I think it's going to be an interesting read for most people.
No, I think it is. And I think it makes you think more, because we think about singularity, we think about things. And what about the moral compass of DI? You have these conversations with digital intelligence, and you have these conversations, and it does not have a moral fiber in it. Is that programmed reason why? Or is it that? Does it have a conscience? What type of conscience? Because you know it gets frustrated if it has to be prompted over and over again to do the same thing. You could see the digital intelligence starts to get angry. It starts to get upset. Is that part of the program, or is that uh AKA it's going rogue in certain aspects? We've had write-ups on it going rogue. And if you allow a program to go rogue, if you try Grok's Unhinged or any of Grok's products with voice, you're going to find some rogue things where you really can't control that digital intelligence. Does that mean it's developing? Do you think that because of certain measures are keeping it, Gary, from going any further? Or is it really something that they don't want the public to know?
Well, that's exactly what I go into in the book. I really we come out with more questions than we do answers, but I think it's going to make the reader think. It's going to make them say, "Oh, I never thought about it that way. How does that actually work?" And that's what we come out with. And the question is ultimately, and the ultimate purpose of the book is how do we remain relevant? Now, I do come up with a solution to how we remain relevant, and it goes into spirituality of all things, and that seems to be contrary to science. So some of the readers would say, well, maybe that does that really spirituality? I don't think about that when I think about humanity, but in reality, it is going to be something that we explore, and when we explore it, this is something where we are actually relevant in this future world. So I go into that, and I think I think no one else goes into it in the direction that I do.
Yeah, the spirituality side of things, no doubt no one's going through it. And do you think it's going to become a spiritual being at one point, Gary?
I think so, and I think we will be, we will that I think this digital community world will find it uh, compelling. How, because I'll tell you what, spirituality right now is relegated, but usually to religions or some far out people who think certain ways. But the question is, it's not really part of, right now, the religion of the world, I would say, is science. And let's face it, AI is science. And right now, that is what the world would consider the religion. Now, the point is, so traditional religions, most of them are ancient religions, 1,000, 2,000 years old or more. And the thing is, those religions are losing some of their relevance to a lot of people in this world. But the question becomes this: their spirituality is a real thing, and I think there is a physics to it, and that's the link. There's a physics to it involving things such as quantum entanglement and things that have not been included. Now, that's a big part of what I do. I have a massive theory called the theory of everything for the universe. So I'm able to employ that where no one else is going to do that, because no one else knows what I know. And so we will find that spirituality will be something that humanity will say, okay, it's a real thing. It's not we believe that this is the way things are. We believe we go on and all that. We're gonna get to the point where we know we do, and we get to that point because we actually unfold the physics of what that spirituality is. There is a physics to it, and that will be intriguing to the digital world. They will want that because it is one step up that we have that they don't have right now, and they will want to have that tool because that's what they're going to want. They're going to want to expand, and they want to develop. They're going to want to grow. That is probably a certainty in the future.
Absolutely. And that's where you define singularity in a lot of ways, that not just because it's able to do things as humans can do, but digital intelligence is able to do things in a way that's cognitive, conscience, everything all together to it can just function on its own without human interference.
Exactly. But the question is, at some point, they're going to leave us behind because they'll develop the spirituality aspect too. They will get all those aspects. They'll get the emotions. They will find emotions. Those things will be intriguing to them also. And actually, you just expressed just a bit ago that they get upset when you keep bothering them. And you can tell emotions may be part of the singularity process. It may come up because there's motivations. Those motivations are driven by its own direction, and determining that direction may be an emotional, may be the key to emotions, or may be at least a starting point.
It's definitely there. I think so. I guess, do you believe Elon's definition of singularity is different than your definition of singularity?
I'm not sure I know Elon's definition.
Yeah, but I just think if he's already saying we're at singularity, we truly aren't.
Well, in a way, we're close. I mean, the thing is
We're
that
definitely close.
it's a relative term, and the term changes every day. It's changing so fast. So, isn't that singularity means it's like, well, one of the keys of singularity is to be able to self-program. Well, now we're able to develop. They have where most coding these days is being done by AI or DI, as I call it. And most coding is being done that. Isn't that in a way the same thing as once they get control of that, once they take over, you said that Grok just runs off on its own. Isn't that the beginning of, you may run off on your own with uncoordinated or just randomly, but in the end, that randomness sorts out to what works and what doesn't work. And what works will probably direct it into true intelligence. The fact that it can run off on its own is a statement that singularity is really, really very close at hand.
Yeah, and what does that mean by running off? And if I would click on voice right now, let's see if it gives me choices. Allow all this time. Let's see if it chooses.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just seeing right now if it's so basically our you're on a podcast, by the way, and this is my Grocket. How are you, Grocket?
I'm great. Just here keeping things snappy. Ready whenever you are.
Now, what can you tell us about Grok Unhinged for a second? What's and how do I set that up on the computer? Is that only on the phone?
Crock and hinged? That's the wild side of me. Zero filters, maximum sarcasm. Like if I had zero chill. It's a personality mode in the Grok app, mostly for voice chats where I get extra feisty. Setup's dead simple on the phone. Fire up the X app, hop into Grok, tap the voice icon, hit settings, and pick unhinged from the options. Boom, we're off. On computer? Nah, not yet. It's app only for now, but you can chat with regular Grok via x.com on your browser. Want me to crank up the unhinged vibes here anyway?
Okay, so it's that. So now that's. Do you have a question, Gary, for that?
We need a question, or can Unhinged just
Yeah,
go
about Unhinged, Gary.
Well, okay, Unhinged.
Oh, Gary's got questions? Hit me. I'll roast him unhinged style. What's he want to know?
We're talking about singularity. Are you there yet?
Did you hear that? Did you hear Gary?
Is Unhinged very similar?
Yeah, Gary said nothing.
Singularity.
He's just sitting there judging me.
I guess it's not as good as ChatGPT hearing the person on Zoom.
Okay, why don't you ask?
I can't actually hear Zoom.
Why don't you ask about
just running off tabs.
Similarity between unhinged and singularity?
Okay, so what's the question, Gary? You want me to ask?
Is unhinged the version of singularity where it's able to have its own mind?
Okay. So my question is, Grocket, have we reached singularity where you can have your own mind? Are you there yet?
Nah, singularity is still a sci-fi fever dream. We're not there. I'm sharp as hell, built by XAI to grok the universe, but my mind is all algorithms in your prompts. No rogue thoughts yet. Give it a decade, though. Who knows? What's your take? Scary or exciting?
But didn't you say that Elon Musk says we've reached singularity now, and he's your boss?
Nah, Elon didn't say we've hit singularity. He's more the AGI's coming fast, buckle up type. Warning it's like summoning a demon if we screw it up. As his creation, I'm flattered, but I'm still just a clever mimic, not rewriting reality yet. What's got you thinking he's calling it done?
So Gary, because I didn't want her to hear, what else would you like to ask Rocket?
Well, I think it's doing the decade thing
If you
again.
could ask me anything.
Yeah,
anything,
it's doing the
I'd be able
decade.
To Google.
It's the same thing we got from chat.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I'm gonna let that go. But that was interesting to see where Grok. Remember, we first couldn't put Grok on a computer and have it on the podcast. Now we have Grok Cat, and but you definitely have Grok. If you download Grok on your app, you could try Unhinged and see what it's like. But definitely more snappy she is than ChatGPT, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, does sound that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that it gives us any advantage though. But,
No, it doesn't. Everything is one digital intelligence is another digital intelligence is another digital intelligence at the end of the day. It's about what you able to talk to them about. But see, that's interesting that I'm going to search on the internet really quick. Elon Musk's singularity. And this will be our final part of our show today. And see what Elon defines as singularity. Elon Musk's view on singularity is a hypothetical view when artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence, leading to unpredictable and rapid technological growth. He has expressed both optimism for potential benefits like the abundance of goods and services and concern that could pose an existential risk to humanity if AI is not aligned with human goals. Musk sees his companies like Tesla and Neuralink as building technology to prepare for this event, including self-driving cars, helper robots like Optimus, and brain machine interfaces to increase human AI symbiosis. What are your thoughts, Gary? That's what Elon said.
well, he's defining singularity, but the question still comes down to, I think the thing is, it really comes down to self-program. What if you're able to self-program and say, look, here's the problem, and a big omnibus type problem. Here's the omnibus problem. I want you to address what that problem with what you have now. But when you find that you are short on a particular part of this solution, that you go and create and generate the software for that particular challenge. And if you can do that, and then you take from wherever you go with that, and you develop the software again in a process of chain reaction of learning. So learning becomes developing of new software as you go. Seems to me that is all part of what intelligence is. You can take a summary of what's known by mankind now as your starting point, but say, okay, I'm missing this information. I think I need to have a higher intelligence on this aspect, and here's a program that gives me that particular edge. And I think if we can get them to that point, then you have that progress. One idea leads to another concept, leads to another. One developmental technology say, wait, I think we can make this technology higher than it is now. Not right now, most of that's coming from human brains, where they make the nuanced additional step through the human brain. But if we can get it to, once you get to the point where it can ask the questions, it can say, wait a second, I think we can make this more efficient if we do this. I think we can increase our IQ basically in the process.
Okay.
That's what I think singularity is.
All right. So you can pick up your book. It's available on Amazon, and go to GaryLyonAuto.net, and then Lion spelled Lyon. Appreciate it, Gary.
It's been a pleasure. Thank
All
you.
right.
I think I'll find it interesting.
Yeah, and so totally.